Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. This might be some crazy shenanigans. Okay, now it's saying excellent. Okay. Hold on. Hello? Hold on. Before I say anything else out of pocket, I just wanted it to be known that I am live right now, so I have to choose my words very carefully. No, you're fine. I thought she was calling to tell me about the stream and the issues. Hello, Dr. Thanos Primal. Welcome to, Late Night Secret Talk Show, where we have a lot of shit to talk and a lot of shit to go through, and I will definitely call you back on this 2-part stream. Good day. Now, with that being said, ladies, busy on my end the last. I'm trying to see what's going on with my stream. The stream quality is healthy. That's good. I'm trying to see what the lag at, what the delay at. I just want to say the last few days have been very hard. So please excuse my. I promise you, the stream will go on. The stream will continue, and every day that I made, I literally said 31 days, and I will make sure that every day, even if I miss days, will be made up in April. So please keep that in mind. I want to make sure that we have everything in need for the channel and everything for the needs of growth. But this is going to be a 2-part stream. The first half of the stream, we're going to talk about the shoes. We're going to talk about a bunch of shoes that I've seen, where are we going with the channel, where we're going, with the growth of the channel, where we're going with everything being revamped and everything like that. And we're going to make sure that part, is strictly sneakers, and we're talking about new sneakers that are coming out and everything like that. But today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a mail check. And I've been meaning to do this mail check for the last 2 weeks. So, when I say we'll be unboxing the sneaker today, we will definitely be unboxing. And I want to make sure y'all know that you're going to see the shoe for the first time like I am. So that means you will embrace the sneaker just like me. Now, with that being said, we're going to get started with one of our first set of sneakers. And like I said, everything has been going smooth so far, and just getting back to the content of things and making sure that we get all the sneakers and everything like that. We are going to get back into making sure that this is where we're going with next in the market. And I'm telling you, the market has been in a weird frenzy, but that doesn't mean the sneakers are not coming out. I knew we were in a recession, but I didn't know we were in a recession until I realized that we had a lot of. Well, damn. And so, I guess I'll start. I'll start with these. I'll start with these. And I think these are actually going to be pretty nice to start off with. So let's get to it with the sneaker talk, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any sneakers that you want me to talk about or review on the channel, or you want me to do for clips later, let me know in the comments below, because I want to know y'all's opinions on these sneakers as well, because that's the most important thing. We are an interactive show. We are a show to make sure that people not only talk about sneakers, but allow the conversation to flourish and allow the conversation to be great, because at the end of the day, the channel would not thrive without you. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's been checking out the clips and whatnot, because the clips have also been helping the channel grow and having people reach out about the show. So, with that being said, the first sneaker of the night, ladies and gentlemen, is the Devin Booker Nike Book 2 Gustmaker PEs, inspired by a Michigan-based street ball tournament he competed in as a child. And I'm not gonna lie, that yellowish gold and navy blue with the navy blue Nike check is something spectacular. Now, I've had my opinion about the Book 2s. Y'all know me. Y'all know I've had my discussions. Y'all know I had what I said. And, I take the validity of making sure that the Book 2s get their fair treatment, even though they're a fusion of a bunch of other Nikes in one. That doesn't mean that I'm not gonna say these shoes aren't nice. Like, I think that yellow is nice, but the part of the sneaker, and I'll be honest with you, as I look at a full close up of the sneaker, and I zoom the red on the Nike on the side and the actual Gus Maker, the logo itself, and then on the back as well, is still pretty nice. Like, is it his best book too? I can say it's up there, but I'm not gonna say it's his best. I think even now, as we look into the sneaker market and where is it going right now, I mean, Devin Booker has some nice book twos. We can all say that without a doubt. We can all say that he's going to have a decent run with the sneaker. I think the problem for a lot of people in this conversation is more or less, where will this be in the overall marketplace? And it's like, let's just enjoy the ride. We are already in a recession at this point. If you don't know it by now, I know about now. If you are doing long road trips and you see police out, then you know we're in a recession. So when I'm saying that these book twos, if they hit the outlet and the market value is actually right for them, then I think that a lot of people will be winning. Like, this is a decent sneaker. I would say, honestly, it's not a bad one. I think, honestly, this is a solid one, and I think we should be happy and form a context of just saying, like, oh, book twos are coming out. Oh, that's cool. But to think about the book twos and then this colorway come out, and this bright colorway, this Gus Maker PE, I think we would be okay with. And that's just, my personal take on it. Well, there are a lot of sneakers that are just coming out, and you either gotta be experimental with the style, or you just gotta be like, I'm gonna stick to the old true and plain Jane, ideas, and not be any kind of creative, which would suck in the long run. Now, the next sneaker I have here is the 3D unveiled, the 3D printed basketball shoe. It was debuted by Darren Peterson, and I'm looking at the details. I don't have the names, but I'm not gonna lie and say this sneaker isn't cool for a printed shoe. Like, I mean, we're in a market where if you get 3D print a shoe and the material is recyclable, I mean, you're really going back to the original style of the Rocher runs, where it used to be actually, like, for Nike, a recyclable shoe that can actually do something. So with Adidas doing something like this, and it's gotten better since their thing, I think we as consumers have to find a median ground and a median way that allows for us to actually enjoy a sneaker, but more or less enjoy a sneaker in the way that we as a fan base could actually be like, yeah, we got some good ones. We got some nice sneakers. We got something that we can actually rock with and actually enjoy. Whereas people that are not sneaker heads be like, I'm either going to buy it or not. I'm hit or miss. I mean, wow. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. That's a story that's going to come back and bite me later. And I just got to send it off now. But like I said, I think we as sneakerheads should be happy that the worst part about being a sneakerhead in this timeline is that everything's so goddamn high. So it's like you can't really just buy to enjoy the shoe. You are buying either for the hobby or you love the sneaker itself, but you're not just buying willy-nilly like you used to, because it's so goddamn high to be a sneakerhead. And if you don't see a certain shoe that comes out or something that you wait for, then the resale market is going to bite you in the ass. So I'm grateful that Adidas is doing 3D printed shoes, but at the same time, can you really be mad if this is a 3D printed shoe that actually lasts longer than most shoes? That's my fighting argument. Now, if you're joining into the show, make sure you like, comment, and let me know one of your favorite shoes so that way we can talk about it. I'm going to, like I said, I'm just doing this stream right now just so that way I can get back into the swing of things. But we do have an unboxing later today. And like I said, if you follow the channel, you know which shoe I'm talking about. And like I said, I don't even win these for me no more. I win them for other people. So with that being said, I'm grateful that I can get the chance to win these shoes and unbox them here. And then wait for the moment that this is becoming a gift and it's a genuine gift. So let's go to the next sneaker. These are the Carnival Asics Gel Cayano 12.1 Paracacton, and if I said the name wrong, I do apologize. I hope I said it correctly because I want to make sure that I, am respectful to not only people's names but the culture of the meaning and the meaning behind the name. And I want to say this, like, just looking at this A6, like, A6 has been on the come up. You already know this, but this carnival colorway, very simplistic. I'm zooming in and I'm looking at the shoe and I see that it's already, I know it's a gray, I know it's the line, it's the green that shifts into the blue, but I'm trying to see if it's like velvet or if it's actual like suede on the sneaker, because for A6 to have a generational run like this, and I think even then to have a sneaker that can have its own fan base and and pull off from other fan bases, because not a lot of other fan bases are making like running shoes that are stylish. It just goes to show that we're living in a different time. Like, and I'll be honest with you, I'm a millennial. I seen the height of sneaker culture. Like, I seen the lines. I was there for some of the lines. Like, I seen crazy releases, and so for me as a sneakerhead and seeing the times change that people actually get creates an attention for the culture, and I think that's more important than anything. Like, I feel we are in the right time. We're in the right, but we're in the wrong time for the prices. That's the worst part about all this shit. Now, god damn it, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. All right. I really want to say that we are. It's time to go to the next shoe. We are in a timeline that allows for us as sneakerheads to be flourishing, but there's some out-of-pocket things that's going on that I feel like the hype beats already won. Because if I'm seeing places doing the Virgils for $850 for a pre-order, you got your rabbit ass mind in this economy. You crazy as fuck. And I know people that want them that's trying to sell them for that price, and I can believe they can get it, but you're still crazy as fuck. Like, why even do it in this market? Like, at this point, you're just being a hype beast. Like, I get it. You got to make your bread as well, but I'm saying, like, don't be a head ass and hoard multiple pairs. If you're like one pair, one or two, maybe no more than 3 or 4, fine. But if you have a whole roster of sizes and your pre-ordering is $850, you're really just trying to come up on keeping your store front open. And I think that is the head ass part of it all. But I can go on a tangent about that a whole nother day. I don't want to, because we still got a lot more shoes to talk about. And like I said, I really miss doing this for y'all. And so we need to get into it. All right. Now, I know this is going to be a bad look on the photo, but SGA had a modified Shy one with no zipper, and it's a two-tone pink colorway. I'm not gonna lie, if you follow the channel, y'all seen I've already done the pink colorway, and I think the clips are coming out soon, so keep an eye out for that. But a two-tone pink, now you're experimenting with some flavor that I think people will actually enjoy. Hold on. And I say this in the nicest way possible. We should be happy that more hoopers are getting different shoes. We should even be more happy that, Converse has somebody that is, in the modern era making a name for not only the brand and themselves, but also making it accessible for other people to actually enjoy the shoe. So I'm saying this in the nicest way possible. A two-tone pink might be the one for the people that we just don't know what to expect, and I think that's a good thing in this market. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about the sneakerheads and the sneaker culture and who is the flight for the sneakers. And SGA sneakers aren't that expensive, so you kind of can get it for a win. It's just more or less, are you going to do with are you doing it for you, or are you just doing it, to be representative of the culture? And like I said, I have my takes. My takes might not be perfect, but I have my takes. And I think even then, as a respectable take, that's something that is going to be a nicer shoe. So, like I said, the sneakerhead. All right, sneaker. And I mean, no disrespect. Oh yeah, it is probate day. I forgot. I'm sorry. Hold on. Excuse me. I do apologize. I'm multitasking while trying to handle multiple things. But, I mean, for a flat earther shoe, it reminds me. Okay, here we go. It reminds me like of a ballerina shoe, but I mean, I don't think this. It's for real, and it might sell, but I don't think, in my honest opinion, that people are going to be overly hyped for this shoe, even though it has Pharrell's name on it. I honestly, genuinely think that this is going to be a mid shoe at best, and that's being nice. And I say that only because of the simple fact that as a sneakerhead, and I know people, the hypebeast community, are just going to go rampant for the sneaker. I don't think that we won't see many releases like the Jellyfishes, in my opinion, with the sneaker. I'm thinking that, yeah, he might drop like a few lines and a few versions of the sneaker, but I don't think, and this is me just speaking from a hypothetical, I don't think that if they don't sell, cool, but if they sell, we might get a few more versions of the sneaker, but that doesn't mean it's going to be the best thing he's released with Adidas, even with the Virginia line. And I'm just going to be honest with you, I think that's saying a lot. So, let's go forward, shall we? We have our next shoe, and I think for me personally, there we go. For me personally, as a Foamposite person, as a Foamposite Pro person, somebody having the OG Voltage releasing May 1st, and this is the one sneaker. This is like, we are in a recession because this is one of very few sneakers that are re-releasing and has not been re-released since 97. This is the sneakers. This is the 29th anniversary of this sneaker. And you mean to tell me that we are seeing this sneaker return for the first time since 97? Voltage. At that point, you could have re-released the Yeezy colorway and people would have been even more ecstatic. But Voltage? Matter of fact, let me zoom in so you can see me. So you can see my face. Axel Patton. Hello. Welcome to the show. Hold on. I'm going to respond to you. You catch me when I take off my glasses, man. All right. I'm looking at Voltage as a Foamposite Pro person, and yes, my pros are still near dead stock. You cannot tell me we are not in a recession when you see something like this. There's no way in the world. A sneaker that has not came back out since 1997. 97. Do you know what happened in 97? I barely remember 97. You know why? Because I was still riding the hype that the Cowboys won the Super Bowl in 96. So, for them to bring these back out means we are in the proper time, in the proper place, that we can buy sneakers that we've been waiting for. And these are one of the ones I've been waiting for as a Foamposite Pro person that I'm mad I won't be able to get at the moment. So, May 8th is right around the corner. That's literally Texas Southern University graduation day. Shout out to Texas Southern University. That's also my chapter Delta Theta's charter day. Shout out to the TSU Alphas. You know, the TSU Alphas. And if I was real supreme head ass, yes, I would get these. All right. We gotta move on. We gotta move forward. We gotta do things right, because if we don't, we get bored. And I want to make sure I keep the attention going, because y'all are rocking with me. I'm rocking with y'all. Yeah, crazy work, Thanos Primal. Crazy freaking work, man. Oh my god. Alright, next sneaker. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the Puma V-S2 Go-Getter sneakers. And I've only had maybe 2 or 3 Pumas in my life. So when I say that I actually rock with these more than most people, I think even now that these are coming out, and believe me, I have other Pumas that I've seen that are way better. But I think in the conversation of longevity, in the conversation of making sure that the attention is set on sneakers that people are actually going to want to get, I don't think there's anything wrong with these. I just think that people misunderstand them for what they are. They look like they're going to be runners, and they look like you're going to go after the bag, and there's nothing wrong with having a sneaker to let you know that you're going after the bag, but that doesn't mean that these sneakers are going to be bad. I think these are sneakers that are going to either go to the mall, sit there, and actually be, waited on. But at the same time, I think we are in a place that even something like this could be actually really enjoyable. All right. Let's go to the next sneaker. We got some sneakers to talk about. I really have been making sure to keep things going smoothly, and to making sure that the channel also is running very smoothly. Now, let me take y'all motherfuckers back to 2010. Kanye West dropped a wonderful album. And you know what shoe he also showed the world? The Nike Air Yeezy 2. And these are the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy prototypes. Things. Why? Because why in the world are you showing me these literally 16 years later? Do you know what 16 years ago would have been for me? I'd have been one of the happiest people on earth to have not even looked at the shoe, but to see it in clear, crisp detail and wear it. We're talking about Yeezy 2s. Ladies and gentlemen. And not just any Yeezy 2s. We're talking about Yeezy 2s based off of the album that actually, in my opinion, brought back Kanye. Because you got to remember, the graduation era ended. He lost his mom. 808 Heartbreak era. Exactly. Back before he started really tripping. But he was tripping still. You talk about this sneaker? Like, ladies and gentlemen, say what you want, say what you will. If these were to come out with no attachment to Ye in the modern day, and they just said this is the Nike Air, and they just left out the Yeezy, and they could sell it without him getting his name credit on there, do you know these would sell as hotcakes? Do you know these will sell so quickly, so fast, that this would actually break the sneakers app in real time because the Red Octobers have already done it? Y'all ain't listening to me. Y'all not listening to me. These will break the internet if they just said Nike Air blank. No Yeezy. But we all know what the shoe is based off. You got to remember, Victor Cruz did a similar shoe that had similar colorways to the Yeezy back in 2014, 2015. And certain ways, and they got the support from Kanye, and they still sold. But y'all ain't listening to me, though. Y'all thinking I'm crazy, thinking I'm talking like an old sneakerhead. No. I'm talking like a sneaker realist. These would have been the ones. And I ain't, no disrespect to Roman Reigns. Famous Primal Tribal Chief. The ones. This is one time I'm throwing out the ones. These would have been the ones. Alright. Before I go full crash out, as a society, celebrate people who get their deals and get their deals the right way. And even though times are changing, but college players are getting sneaker deals is something I'm happy about. And in the best and worst way of NIL, I think this is funny that Darius A. Cuff Jr. is getting a Reebok sneaker deal, and it is on the way. Now, mind you, he is a freshman. This news was dropped yesterday. I'm sorry. Today's the 26th. This news was dropped. No, this news was dropped yesterday. And I think it's interesting that the Arkansas Razorback freshman guard, Darius Acuff Jr., has his own sneaker deal. And you got to think, the first male basketball player to get a Reebok sneaker deal was John Wall in 2010. Now, I may not be, I may be a part of the SEC, shenanigans. Yes, I love SEC football. But we cannot forget and not forgive the things that have happened between the Arkansas football program and things that have gone on. So with that being said, for him to have a sneaker deal, which means Shaq and AI are basically saying, we are writing the check because we can see the future in you. Boy, you better take it and make the best shoe ever. Because think about it. Think about it like this. Reebok has been on a comeback ever since they left Adidas and went back on their own. Shaq and AI has been running the company. They have had numerous collabs. They've had numerous celebrities and numerous athletes come back to the brand that is making a name for itself again. We are in the true prime era of a recession to know that the simple fact is that this man might have a future with Reebok, and we have to support it in every way possible because we don't know where the stars is for him, but that doesn't mean we cannot support him. That is as honest as I'll be. So when the shoe comes to this channel, when I first see the sneaker, ladies and gentlemen, no matter where I am, if I see the sneaker, if I'm out working or I'm out live, we will see the sneaker on this channel and make sure that we, as a culture of real genuine sneakerheads that love the sneakerhead culture, love people that's getting their shoes, love making sure that we have a way of doing things, will be seen and appreciated in this modern era. So hopefully when this clip come out, I'm cooking with it because I might end up getting back on TikTok and doing all my clips like that just so y'all can see what I've been doing because I ain't really been on it like that ever since the man in the house that's white that was built by us Negroes. If y'all ain't hear me, ladies and gentlemen, if we ain't got it since then y'all ain't getting it at all. So I'm going to say this one time and I'm going to watch y'all fall. Ever since he's been in the house and took over TikTok, I ain't been rocking with this shit. I ain't even gonna lie with y'all. So I'm gonna try to do my best to be unbiased on that app and making sure they ain't catching the meeting with no rap. So ladies and gentlemen, hopefully the Acuff one's on the way and hopefully we can support him every day since that shoe drop comes around the corner. Thank you. Now, woo! I took it there. I'm sorry, boss. I shouldn't have took it there. You got to remember, we are halfway through the show. I have to make this entertaining for y'all, the people, because without y'all, it wouldn't be great. It wouldn't be a good show. I would be boring y'all. Y'all wouldn't want to watch me talk about sneakers. That shit would be ass. So I want to say thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for liking, subscribing, commenting, all that and more, because without y'all, we would be bored. And I'm making sure that I revamp the show in a way that allows me to be great. Hold on one second. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I will admit, I've done some craziness in my life, and I've done some things that allowed me to be in the highest point of my life. Oh. And did I mute myself? No, I didn't. Okay, then, all right. And I prayerfully got these right. Now, my sizing's a little bit off, and I do apologize, but I'm going to try to get it right for y'all. Amine Leon Dior and New Balance is dropping the 1330 Navy March 26th. And I think these are going to be, heat for a lot of people. Because, when it comes to Amine Leon Dior, people are going to either rock with them or not. I think more or less people are either going to be appreciative of everything that he's doing as a person of the culture. And I feel that this Navy shoe going for $220. I mean, if you love the guy and love the brand and love the idea, I could see people paying that price. But I didn't think these would be over 200. I thought they would be like 200 even at least. And that's just me being fair. I think people misunderstand the market. Like I said, the market's in an unsaturated, unlively place, and I don't think people understand that this is the dark part of the culture. And I think that now more than ever, people are not truly coherent to what they're doing. And so I take that to say this, that even though he's dropping this sneaker, and I'm grateful that he is, that this is something that we have to either be appreciative of that he's dropping it, but we don't have to be respectful of the price. And that's the thing that people don't realize. So I'm going to take a quick break. I will be right back. We will be right back. And we're still live, ladies and gentlemen. We are still going. So please stay around. Stick around. We'll be right back. This is Landon Strange. We'll be right back. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize. I had to handle that. I had to take that call. All right, now I did say a lot about him, and I do want to be open and honest in saying that I want people to appreciate this. So hopefully the sneaker does well. That's all I can ask for. That's an honesty and truthness, and y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. Now that we are back. So this, like I said, this will be a 2-part stream regardless. And even though I did take a little break, I'm still giving my full time to this. So that means we're gonna season this like some good food. So I'll be honest with you. I never thought that Nike would bring these back as a regular release. As a Foamposite Pro person, these were probably the worst ones to me. Like, don't get me wrong. When they came out, you gotta remember, like, people wanted an all red shoe for the Red Octobers. Yes. But we have to remember in that timeline what happened. So for them to bring back Gym Red, I'm telling you, like, and I'll be honest with you, and I'll be wholeheartedly glasses off moment. I will be wholeheartedly honest with you at this moment. If and I say this because we look at the Gym Reds. The Gym Reds came out literally like a decade ago. No more than 12 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And I didn't see too many people in the city rocking with these. They were cool. Like, they sat in a shelf for a while. It wasn't until like they really hit the outlet market that people actually was rocking with these. So it goes back to the question of, at least with voltage, 97 made sense. We ain't seen a sneaker since then. This came out at least 10, no more than 12 years ago. So at this point, it's like, why are you bringing these back? Like, why are you flooding the market with certain foam-posite pros instead of what we really want? Like, don't get me wrong. Doom's coming out later this year. I got my pearls last year. Like, and the UNCs came out on, or are coming out within a week or two. So it makes sense for those, but like this one legitimately makes no sense. Even as a sneakerhead, from my perspective, it makes no sense. But if y'all like it, I love it, and I'm here to fuck with it. So let's get on in it, and let's get on with it. So, now, we got another shoe that I need to talk about. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord! Head ass boy. Let me see if I can find a good picture of it. There we go. I'll just take this picture and run with it. Alright, here we go. Let me see how it looks on camera, ladies and gentlemen. I am appreciative of everybody here who's watching on the live. And when the sucker gets clipped, it's going to get clipped numerous ways to Sunday. Because I'll probably be back on tomorrow. If I'm not back on tomorrow, then I'll definitely be on Friday or Saturday. But I got to get all the days of March, even if it's the rest of the month. Alright. Marahashi. And too well, so if anyone knows the brand, that's fine. I know it's a Japanese brand. But I personally like the Dragon Tongue. The dragon tongue, and the way he laced it so you could see the dragon on the tongue. Chef's kiss, sir. Like, he looked like a real ninja, and I feel like even then, like, you have to lace this a certain way so you can see the dragon on the tongue, because if you don't, you're missing out on probably the best feature of this black and white sneaker. I think that's what people are missing with this sneaker. Like, they see the sneaker and be like, oh, it's a cool, little running shoe, I can rock with it. Excuse me. No, sir. No, sir. Don't sleep on the sneaker that is slowly catching people's attention. Like, that would catch people's attention easily. I think even now more than ever. Oh, wow. I had multiple stream errors, but at least everything's going cool. No super chats. Yeah, that's fine. I'm glad I have more viewers coming in, checking out the channel. I'm really appreciative of it. But I wanted to say that I think this one, personally, for a lot of people, would be something different. And I don't know if as we as a society are ready for it. Like, I don't think that people would actually prefer this sneaker. And I do, and that's the sad part. Now, the price would be the only difference for me and actually evaluating the shoe to be a better sneaker. I think now that we are in, like I said, a recession, the sneaker is nice, the black is nice, even with the layers is nice, but I think even now, I think it's going to be underrated. Alright, time to get the next sneaker. Hit him with that, hit him with that, Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't expect, but for 2026, we have another Flight Club shoe. The Air Jordan 1 High OG Flight Club is releasing April 11th. And I think with the Flight Club 4s, that came out, and I tell you like this, as an educator and as a person that's a part of the culture, I've seen a lot more people in the Flight Club 4s than I thought I would, even though it's based off of the, the club that he actually started in 89. But I think for a pair of ones, I think the ones really, with the stitching and how it's the reverse stitching with the white on it, and it's basically like a cream tongue, the Jordan Flight Club logo inside the sneaker, and I think more of a denim or a denim black colorway. I honestly appreciate the sneaker more than the 4s, and I think in hindsight, I expect the customizer to bleach these, because these might look fire bleached. Like the detail, the stitching, it looks like a black, like a navy blue, but it's hard to tell. But even then, like, I think this is going to be an underrated Air Jordan 1 for the year. I don't think people are too hyped about this one, even though it's a first look. But I think people are more open and more cognizant of certain sneakers and how they rock. And I think with this one, the way it is, might actually get the appreciation it rightfully deserves. I just think now we are in a timeline where if this goes to the outlet, this would sell and it's going to be hard to find certain sizes. But I say that as a person who's watched the market change, and this one might catch people's attention more than it should. I don't think this will end up in the outlet, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did. And I'm saying that as a person who, follows things that follow the market. All right. Now, as I bring in a hype sneaker, I have to bring in something that people might not want to see. And with that being said, I think we need to have the conversation that I didn't expect to have. And y'all may call me out for it, and I'm fine with that. I accept it for what it is. But we need to have this conversation now. All right. Now, everybody knows that a few weeks ago, I've talked about people breaking onto a train and stealing the Son of Mars's, right? I've talked about that on the channel, and I think I haven't did the clip yet. Well, the Black Cement Son of Mars is just returned to the store, and people are actually loving these, which is throwing me off for a loop because, believe me, I was in the era where people were not really rocking them unless they're talking about the hybrid Jordans, and everybody has their take on them. I'm glad that they're bringing them back in this economy. I'm glad that they're getting the love they deserve by the fan base that they have, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think where we are as a society is that we appreciate people who wear the shoes that they love and love what they wear. Now we are, and I'll be honest with you. Now that we're cognizant of these things, I don't think that we, as a society, can be like, oh yeah, these is mid, these are eh. No. I think we should be more understanding of people who have a taste that could actually afford these. And that's what I want people to understand. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. I know I was in the middle of a good rant, and I hope people really do appreciate the Son of Mars's, but we need to have a talk. Glasses. This is a glasses off moment. You mean to fucking tell me that they had a royal patent Air Jordan 1? Bread was already dangerous enough. People don't remember that release. That was during the hype. That was during the tail end of COVID. When the patent leather ones came out, everybody and their mama was finding a plug for these. They were very limited in count, but everybody and their mama was looking for these. And you can lie to me and tell me that you wasn't. If you're not a sneakerhead, then I don't believe you. Because even I, myself included, had a pair and found a pair. Shout out to DJ T-Raw for working at Athlete at that time. And, finding my way through the crevices to get my pair. Now, I will say I made 2 errors in my decision making. I had a chance to get the Gundam Dunks that came out that year and traded them for my patents. But instead, I wanted the Rebellion Airs because it was a 1 in 20,000 shoe. And that's a very limited shoe in my closet. And I love those to death to this day. But patent leather was something special. And people loved them because it was something special. But now you tell me they had a royal? If these hit the shelves this year, they might cause a problem for the culture. Hype beasts, these will not sit if they actually hit the shelves. And I dare you to find an argument to tell me why you think they would. I've seen a lot of people wear their patent leathers to the point that they don't really truly take care of them, and the leather is really dingy, and a re-release would be dangerous right now. But the royal, that blue instead of a red, you might as well just say you had Bloods and Crips on this one. Because what you mean they would drop the blue? Like, the sample has emerged and it was scrapped in the reimagined. So think about it. That means within the last 2 years you had to scrap it, because they've been bringing back reimagined shoes for the last almost 3 years. So that means that we had a chance to get these shoes and they scrapped them. Why? I don't think people are hearing me when I say that this would have been something that the streets would have wanted. If I drop this video on any other app besides YouTube while it's live, I think people would agree that the Royals would not be slept on. Like, why would they be slept on as a sneaker? Like, who would sleep on these? I don't see you sleeping on these because of the fact that they wouldn't be. They would be as limited as the Breads were, hands down. But even then, when you sit back and think about it, these might be even more dangerous than the Breads because of the market value that it has. Oh shit! The Element ones went down to $149. Fuck. All right. Needless to say, I think now that we have found a way into appreciating certain sneakers and their sample stories, that we don't realize that we are missing out on a lot of sneakers, even in this modern era of sneaker culture. And I truly think that we should have been more appreciative of what we had. Or what we have, because if I show you another sample, I don't think, and I've been, like I said, there's been shoes I've been meaning to talk about. I just been busy, that people are either gonna be like, it's okay, or yay, this is gonna be cool, and then you have to take that into consideration of where are we as a society, as the sneaker culture combines and is aligning itself. So these are the alternate gamma Air Jordan 11 Look-See sample. And everybody has their opinions about the gammas. I know. I've done a video on the gammas, and that clip will be coming out soon, so that way you can all check it out. I don't think people would have actually liked these. And that's saying a lot, because I would have liked them just for the purple and the gamma colorway, like a little bit more of the purple. But as a real Jordan 11 sneakerheads that will, debate this video, I can see them saying they would hate these. And I can see why. Because it takes away from the original gamma more than it, even though it's an alternate colorway and it's a Look-See sample, I get it. I understand people have their preferences and their love and hate, with certain sneakers. But I don't see them getting the love that they rightfully would have deserved. And I think even more or less now that this sneaker would be hated. I don't see genuine 11 sneakerheads or genuine 11, real 11 OG fans rocking with this sneaker. And I'll be honest with you. I would rock this sneaker. And like I said, I have the taste. Like, I can rock with a aqua tone shirt and make it work. But I'm saying this as a person who is a genuine sneaker. I don't see them rocking with the sneaker, and I understand why. It's disrespectful, and I didn't even like the Gammas when they first dropped. So I'm saying this honestly. I feel like people who really love the Gammas would really hate this sneaker, and I understand why. So, with that being said, yes, I love samples, but I can see why everybody would hate this sample, and that's okay, especially right now in this conversation. But let's go to another sneaker. Let's see what else we can find in the marketplace. Ooh, I already did those. Hold on. There we go. Let's do these. I don't want people to be feeling like I left out just because I put in, a lot of Jordan brand sneakers. That doesn't mean I don't care about the LeBron 23s, because May 8th, so a Jordan and LeBron conversation is already going to be had. These are the Nike 23 Old Glory, inspired by LeBron James being the flag bearer for the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. That means that these are based off of the Ralph Lauren Polo fit. And if you had a chance to get that fit, you now, 2 years later, have a chance to have the perfect shoe. I'm not gonna lie to you. And if I'm zooming in, if that's not like hard leather, if it's like the soft leather and the sides are hard, low, and they don't really crease as well, you might have the perfect shoe for this. Like the perfect shoe to actually dress down and wear as a nice colorway. I don't think it's a bad sneaker. I don't think the LeBron 23s as a collection was a bad sneaker. I'm saying it as like what we are doing here is making a way that people can appreciate the sneaker a little bit more. Because think about it. There have been a lot of LeBron 23s that have been, fire colorways. A lot of people actually would rock with them way more than people give them credit for. Like, there are things that we can talk about as genuine sneakerheads that, more or less, you can either love it or hate it. I give LeBron's respect for certain sneaker numbers. But if you're talking about a sneaker that's actually genuinely stylish, and that actually has the flair to, be a casual sneaker, but still be a hooping sneaker, Old Glory might be that colorway. And I'm not saying that as, somebody from the States. No, I'm just saying that look at the detail of the sneaker. Like, look at it. Like, that cream bottom, the white and blue, the gold Nike check. Say what you want, and I'm speaking truly unbiased here. These might be underrated. But needless to say, you have to make the best of what you can do with what sneakers you have and go from there. I think we are now being way more appreciative. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think we are now being way more appreciative. So let's get our next sneaker, because I don't want to get too sidetracked. We've already had a LeBron Jordan debates. We've had multiple things that people have already said. Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. I want to talk about straight sneakers and making sure that we keeping the conversation flowing, because we are in a culture that the hype, people gravitate towards the hype, but not gravitate towards the story of the sneaker. And I think that's the problem with being a genuine OG sneakerhead, or even a realistic sneakerhead that fell in love with the culture. So I wanted to change the subject because I saw some Vans on here that actually look fire, and I've been meaning to do this one as well. There's nothing wrong with looking up Vans and seeing that people are trying to bring Vans back, but I think when you look at them doing this, and they say, and people are asking which colorway caught my eye. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, that bottom white with the purple flame, low key slaps. The olive green with the purple flame with the white Van symbol is cool. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, the fire red, that's gonna be a default fire shoe. I really think that white one, minus they all look nice, but that white one, just is something that's just chef's kiss. Don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's good for skateboarding culture that we're having more and more Vans come out in the modern era. Like, by all means, if you're gonna rock your Vans, rock your Vans. But I think that this Vans would be something nice for people to actually enjoy. And I think we should be happy as someone that actually enjoy Vans. We made it to the hour mark of the show. Now, I promise y'all, like I said, I'm doing a second part of the show later on. And since I was on pause, I'm going to be talking about maybe 2 or 3 more sneakers. Cut off, come back on, do another short live stream with the unboxing video. So let's still go on, because we still got some more sneakers to talk about. And let's find the next sneaker. Let's see. I've really been doing a good job making sure that we, as someone who's a part of the culture and someone who actually genuinely loves sneakers and the way that we do things here, we're trying to make sure Sneakers and Stogies still stay lit. So let's get with it, shall we? All right. Now, we all talking, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Aja Wilson is coming to Kids Foot Locker in Miami, March 29th, and she's bringing 224 pairs of the A2 for the kids. Now, if you go to this event, let me know. I've gave her my credits, my flowers. I gave her flowers for the A1s. And I want to see the A2s in person and see if they get the hype behind them that the same A1s did, because they really had the firepower to shut down the app. But that doesn't mean we don't appreciate it. No. We appreciate everything that has happened with her and how she has transformed her Nike line. And I'll say this, like, even though the sneaker culture is male driven, there are some things that you cannot deny in sneaker culture. And she did have one of the best shoes of last year. And so with that being said, for her to not even have her respects on the sneaker is of sneaker of the year in the conversation, it's ludicrous. So for her A2 run, I feel like she's going to get the fire. She's going to have fire to be like, you know what? Y'all disrespect me once enough. This will not happen again. And rightfully so. I think this sneaker might be the best sneaker thing for her. Like, tour and let people know that the A2 is here and is here not to play with anybody on the set. Because at the end of the day, her run is going to be amazing when it comes to this sneaker. And I think even more or less now that people are talking about it, we need to have that conversation. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we not giving credit where credit is due? Now, like I said, I'm finding more and more sneakers throughout the show. I do, I feel like there's more I can do as far as, the community base and making sure that we are a sneaker community and we do what we need to do to, be a proper sneaker community. And so I do want to say if there's any suggestions people have in the chat, let me know, or any suggestions people have in the comments, let me know, because I'm really interested in hearing ideas. But I will not let you disrespect me and my vision. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Nike Diamond Turf 2 Royals, a tribute to Deion Sanders' history with the Kansas City Royals. And he used the skip class to attend the Royals spring training at Fort Myers. And he was also drafted to the Royals in 1985, are coming out summer 2026. And I don't think this was one of the ones that was on the photo cover. I mean, the photo where we seen all the Diamond Turf 2s. So for these to come out and it's actually, something nice for $170, the market price might be okay, but I don't know what we're gonna say about this. I have to see more, and I think we're gonna see more as time progresses. But I don't want this to take away from the moments that we are having in the sneaker renaissance of a lot of older shoes coming back out. I think even now we should be happy that we're seeing something like this. But I think for $170. You can either hit or miss. It's not a bad thing, but I don't think people are going to rock with this for that price. But if they do, I'm here for it. I support it. But the way the market is and how the economy is, these could be hit on for when they hit their resale, and that's where they're going to make their real money at. I mean, the outlets more or less. But even then, if people get this in store, I'm more supportive of that than just going to the outlet, because this could be actually a great sneaker to make a comeback during this time. All right, we are an hour and 5 minutes in, and I have one last thing to talk about, and then I'm going to set up for the unboxing of the sneakers, and then we will, it's a double stream. So, Fernando Mendoza, we all know him as the quarterback from Indiana, who gave us one of Indiana's greatest college football years. I'm not saying it's the greatest college football year of all time. I'm saying for Indiana football, oh yeah, one of the best years, hands down, no question asked. But he visited the innovation lab, and he has photos, and we see the 3D printed football cleat. Now, we already seen the 3D printed basketball shoe. So for him to be around and we see the 3D cleat on the side of him, I think people are really watching to see what Adidas do with this. Now, we already talked about this earlier, and I think I went into enough detail to understand that, yeah, we are here for the moment and we are living in it. But I want to see that these shoes make their mark and stay for a while. I think I didn't get into enough of a detail when it comes to 3D printing and the recyclable materials that go into the sneaker. That is, like I said, if it's really recyclable like that, and this 3D material is something that's, something that catches people's eye, then by all means, keep the sneaker and market and run with it. I just think we as a society like trying new things, and I hope this actual new thing work the best way possible. So hopefully, and I'm gonna be fair and honest when I say this, hopefully we can get to a point that if 3D printed to 4D printed shoes, are making their move and making their moment, then by all means let it work. Let them cook. Let them do what they got to do. Because if they last longer than actual shoes, then at this point, rock with it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're hitting up the last sneaker tonight. And I saw this was one of the first sneakers I saw of the day. And I wanted to do this sneaker anyway. And then I'm going to close out with this. I'm going to set back up and then we're just going to do the unboxing. But, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Homecoming Nike Air Max Plus Safety Orange. And I truly, when I saw this sneaker, all I saw was FAMU. But I see this is not a typical homecoming sneaker. I'm thinking it's more HBCU homecoming, but it's not. Because if you look at the tongue of the sneaker, and I don't think y'all can see it on this photo, but it has Africa on the tongue. And it has homecoming. It has 3 different stripes, 3 different laces. Like, I think this is more homecoming to the sense of, the motherland. And even though Nike is, basically Republican-based brand, and I'm not going to get into the detail of politics because I'm not in there right now because we're not dealing with politics on my channel at the moment. I want to say that I do like the safety orange colorway. And the laces are very, very bright and vivid. But I feel like these are going for $220. No less than $250. I don't know why. I think the market for that price value is going to be high. But then again, I know people and how they spend their money. And I mean, they might get slept on and people will still end up buying them. And that's okay. And I mean slept on in the sense like people are going to wear these in public. And people are going to say, these ain't fire. And then years down the line, they're going to come back and be like, bruh, you was right. Don't fire. So I'm saying that to say this. Don't sleep on these. If you really want them, go for them. But do not be head ass and pay over the retail price. That's what I'm saying. Oh, excuse me. My Lord. But ladies and gentlemen, that was the last sneaker of the night. I want to say thank you everyone for tuning in, making sure you like, comment, subscribe, check out the channel and more. We will be right back when we talk about the shoes I'm about to unbox, and I'm about to unbox them here. So stick around on the channel. When you see it's live again, then you know what's up. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting, subscribing, sharing the videos, all that and more. This is Landon Strange signing out. Yeah.